By 2050, the global population is expected to reach 9.8 billion. In order to meet the needs of a growing population, food production needs to at least increase by 60%. According to Dr. Gary Spacito, production needs to become more efficient under less land area. These challenges pose a major problem to the future of food production systems. In order to identify some potential solutions, we spoke with several farmers, professors, and extensionists that have dedicated their careers to improving agriculture and food production. Today, many individuals are involved in various facets of improving food production, ranging from research, providing best practices to farmers, and improving sustainable farming practices. Here are some thoughts from individuals on the front lines.
So I guess I'll give two answers. One answer based on forage crops. So forage crops, especially when integrated in a crop rotation or rotation with other crops, tend to be, for the most part, perennial crops, and we like to say that we sort of have a natural inborn sustainability just with the crop itself because of its perennial nature, its ability to hold the soil, its ability to improve water infiltration or build soil tilth, soil health, that kind of thing. So these are things that are actually quite well documented in numerous studies about how forage crops, especially alfalfa, can contribute positively to the environment, and as well as providing forage to dairy cattle or beef cattle or whatever. So that's one side. Forage crops themselves in an integrated system provide sustainability. The other thing is, and so I work on a lot of different crops, and I'm interested in a lot of crops, and I think that crop diversity itself, whether it's forages or otherwise, is a way to help bring about sustainability in a cropping system. And there's plenty of evidence showing that that's also true when compared to, say, a single monoculture of one crop over and over.
So my research is focused on learning about how to improve the uptake of agricultural technologies, and I'm particularly interested in how those technologies are used by everyone, including the most vulnerable groups of people, which I think leads into sustainability of food production, that if there are certain segments of society who are unable to adopt a technology for a certain reason, then we're not being as sustainable as we possibly could. So my research looks at those small interventions that can improve the uptake of those technologies.
With limited time and resources, focusing efforts on areas that will have the largest impact can better help to nourish the growing population. Bright ideas and innovations are the key to sustainability.
I would say since we had commercially available refrigerators, which was in the early 1900s, around 1920, I would say that the majority of efforts for food preservation have been through refrigeration or the cooling of products. But what I found, based on my experience, is that drying was not the case. So the dry chain, differently to the cold or refrigerated chain, was not we didn't have the advances that we had in refrigeration. And again, it's almost like forced sustainability because it's a combination of what's in the market, what are we growing right now in California. Historically, California has grown many fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, and so on. But differently to nuts, the fresh fruit and vegetable industry requires a significant amount of labor. And if we're looking for us to be able to produce food in California, we need to look at the profit, and labor is unfortunately the cost and availability of labor, lack of availability of labor is making farming in California not sustainable. And because of that, there's other industries that have significantly grown. The nut industry is one of them. It requires less labor, requires less resources, it's much more sustainable.
With what we have learned in PLS 111, these challenges can seem daunting. So what do those working on these issues every day think about the future?
Optimistic right now, and that is because I've seen Here at UC Davis, which I think is reflective of a large part of our population, I've seen just a steep and significant increase in the number of students and faculty who are interested in this challenge. When I started this work as an undergrad back in the 80s, it was a very small part of the population that even thought about this. But then coming to Davis, going through probably a decade where it was still only a few of our students that came out here who really engaged deeply in practices around sustainable agriculture, to today, when there's folks like yourself, students, faculty, classes that are all about what is a sustainable food system, that makes me really optimistic, because I think as a civilization, as a country, as researchers and educators, we're so far advanced of what we were even just 10 years ago in addressing this problem.
I think I'm optimistic as well, because that's what like the consumers seem to want more and more, is like they want their food to be sustainably grown and organic and not to harm the environment.
Yeah, it's definitely popularized now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, so we want to thank you so much for your time, and then this is kind of a curveball question, but do you have anything to say to Jeff Mitchell or anything funny to comment on?
Jeff Mitchell, keep running really fast, talking really fast, and that's how you're going to get to the end of your career really quickly. Jeff and I were in graduate school together. He was a little ahead of me, but we were in grad school together. So I've watched him do his fast thinking, fast talking, fast movement for many years now.
Well, I know Jeff loves to have students make videos, and there are some students love it and some students hate it. But hopefully this video comes through as being more on the positive side. And I think it's great that Jeff gets you guys out to talk to other faculty, because it's the way we all learn. And I know Jeff's been a proponent of some real positive changes in agriculture. So go Jeff.